Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Thursday. It is the start of the NFL week. It is the start of college football, although we've had a couple. But I'm having a conversation with my boy, the Dream. Dream, are you ready to make America great again?
You like me make America white again? Is that what you mean, player? Make America white again, because that's what seems like is about to go on. And guys, please, I'm just having some fun with it, so relax. We're just going to have a little fun. This show is a very lighthearted show. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Obviously, a couple of our opinions. You know I'm a clown. Rodeo Clown's going to make a lot of jokes. If you're feeling sensitive, you might want to turn on ESPN.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Dream, what you think of – I mean, hey, listen, I know that you had Hillary to win the election and all that, and she ended up getting smoke showed by the Don.
She did. And I did have Hillary going all the way. But as I've said before, I didn't love either one of these candidates, okay? I just felt that, you know, she was the lesser of two evils, so to say.
Okay.
I didn't love either one of these candidates. But what I love most of all, more than anything else, is from now on, the stuff wrong with this country, which there will be plenty of, Mr. Obama will no longer be ridiculed about it.
No longer responsible.
Because Obama, as far as I'm concerned, Obama caught heat about everything he did. If the man's shirt wasn't ironed right, somebody has something to say.
Of course.
And I'm so glad that he's done it out of there. And now we could get back and let the other folks take on over and go ahead and do your thing. And we will sit back and watch and throw the stones as mistakes are made.
Well, one thing I got to say is, over the last day and a half, I've seen the top trending tweet on Twitter was the Trump protest. And I got to be honest with you. I honestly believe, and I have a question, have protests ever amounted to anything outside of people getting arrested? They never amount to anything, Dream. Nothing ever happens. So you know what? Go get a job, get a life, stop. Relax, well, you're here. And you know what? I love all the celebrities, too, that are were supposed to leave the U.S. if he got elected. Kick rocks. That's what I'm saying.
I heard – hold on, wait. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Oh, I didn't know you were a Trump supporter.
I am. You know what? Right, and I never voted before up until this election. I did vote. You know what? I watched Dream hours and hours of CNN, Fox News, and a bunch of other news. I watched a lot of it. You know, especially when I had some boring football games on where there were blowouts and stuff like that. I kind of swept back and forth. And I listened to both of them. I listened to their policies and everything. And I ended up voting for Trump overall.
I got you. What was it about Trump that you really liked?
I liked the fact of country companies leaving the country and, trying to sell all their products here and not getting taxed on it. I liked his plans as far as immigration are concerned. I liked his plans as far as small businesses getting a reduction in taxes. I liked all that stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I like that one right there because that small businesses getting a reduction in taxes, that doesn't hit like drastically home personally for you, does it?
Of course it does.
Oh, my bad. Okay. So basically, you don't really care about the country and that he could start World War III. As long as you get a tax break for your small business, you're good.
Oh, come on. Anybody could start World War III. Come on.
I'm just saying it is what it is. Listen, everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their own vote. I'm not going to knock anybody for picking anybody. Personally, I don't think that any of these people really are able to do 95% of the things that they say that they're able to do. That system is so combobulated and bureaucratical, and there's so much red tape to get through. It's very hard for a president, even under 2 terms, to really get any headway done. But, I wish him hopefully the best of luck, and hopefully he makes the best choices for our country. I don't necessarily know that he's going to, but hopefully he does. As I'm a citizen of this country, and I would want him to make the best choices as well. That's where I'm at with it.
All right. And you know what? I got to be honest with you, Dream. You know what? And this, I can't say that he is the best example in the world of something to aspire to, but I can say this, that the man went out there and he proved that hard work does pay off. I mean, this guy, I don't know if you realize this, but he was doing like 5 rallies a day in like all different states. He out-hustled Hillary big time. And you know what? There was states like Wisconsin that she thought she had in the bag, but he just kept going and pounding and pounding and pounding, and sure enough, he was able to win those states. And
stay away from the black folks.
Yeah.
I didn't see him pounding in Harlem.
No, she did win New York, but hey, for the most part, and you know what? He did have a good mix of voters, believe it or not. There was a lot of people that came out of the woodwork, a lot of minorities that voted for Trump, Dream.
Listen, like I said before, first of all, I just want to touch on you said your protest issue. And yeah, I don't think that protests necessarily have an immediate effect. However, I think they kind of set a little bit of tone about what a population might be thinking, or that certain population here might have, and what their opinions might be. The other part of that is I've heard a lot of people say, get a job. Is everybody assuming that all the protesters are unemployed?
Pretty much. I mean, you're there all week long.
So?
From start to finish of the day. Come on.
Well,
you don't have retired people, Dream. You got people that don't have jobs. I mean, I'll give you an example.
Do you have any is there any factual basis for that, or is that just your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's my opinion. But I remember when they were protesting over at Yale, and they were all on the New Haven Green over here. And you know what? It ended up being, at the end of the day, like basically a place for the homeless. Because it was like thousands of people just kind of camping out on the lawn. It was crazy. So, you know what? Hey, that's my own opinion, guys. And everybody's entitled to it, obviously. We live in a country of free speech. Yeah. So, you know what? Enough of that, Dream. Enough of politics. I just hope that everybody could be unified in this country, regardless of who won.
Well, you know, everybody's not going to be unified. So you guys can keep hope alive with that, because we just are not. Unfortunately, that's the fabric of our society. I wish that it wasn't, but wishing and reality are 2 different things. Hopefully, my issue with Trump has always been, I see that rich, spoiled, snobbish type of individual, and hopefully he has like one of those, I think he has an eccentric ego. I don't think that he listens to criticism very well. I believe that he has one of those, a short fuse as well. And on the diplomatic side, as far as, being involved with other countries, whatever have you, some of his opinions and the way he can come off, I believe, can rub some people the wrong way. And I'm hoping that won't prove disastrous for this country.
Well, I can tell you this much, that he did calm it down over the last 3 weeks of the election.
Yes, he did.
Chill.
The calm before the storm?
Yeah, right. Be calm before. And you know what? All his boys are going to get elected to the House as well. So, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to have Chris Christie, Giuliani. He's going to have all these guys. And if he's got Chris Christie on his side, maybe, just maybe, we may see in this 4 years sports betting rear its head and become legalized. Because they're already legalizing marijuana all over the place already.
Well, that's good. I mean, a lot of people, that was an extra ballot vote for a lot of, I noticed that it wasn't one for our state, but it was in a lot of states an extra vote that people were able to vote it in.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I am a vegetarian, and I am looking forward to Connecticut making it legal as well. Good morning to everybody. We are live on Twitter right now, SBTV Nation. We are very excited that we're going to have Tay Stevens joining us in a little bit. Dream, great job on booking her.
All right. And you know what? Like you said, I think we're done with the political landscape. Guys, you see me back and forth on Twitter. A lot of it is just for fun and giggles. Listen, like I said before, I don't really think that any of these people drastically do anything for us common folk, but we shall see moving forward. On to what's going on with the football.
Yes.
Monday night, once again, we were surrounded by Seattle and bad officiating. What is it with Seattle and the officiating?
I watched the play a couple of times now. This was the play going at the end of the first half where Richard Sherman ran into the kicker, and I do believe that should have been a personal foul instead of just an offsides penalty. I really do. I really do. But I was on the Seattle side, so it worked out to my benefit, to be honest with you. So I did have Seattle money line.
The language of the roughing, though, the personal foul language.
Yep.
And this was always an issue of mine. The issue is you can hit the kicker if you hit the ball.
Right.
Okay. Now I always struggled with that because I always said, if the goal of the rule is to protect the kicker, then you just should not be able to hit the kicker regardless. First of all, kicking a field goal or even a punt, dude, you talk about defenseless receiver, the most defenseless position's got to be your legs spread eagle wide up in the air and somebody running into you. So as far as I'm concerned, making contact with the kicker or the punter, if you don't, it shouldn't. I don't think it should matter whether you hit the ball or not. I think if you make contact with that kicker or punter's leg, because it could be a wrap. How you don't get more of these guys injured, like careerly injured or really bad injuries, I'm still a little miffed by, but I never understood that rule.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I can see both sides because you know what? In order to sometimes block the punt or block the kick or something like that, your body is going to touch the opposing player, being the kicker or punter, regardless. Right. So it's almost impossible to go with what you're saying with that. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. I've been the guy on the edge, trying to block it. And you know what? It's just your momentum. I mean, there's nothing you could do. What do you do? Like, do you dive and just put your hand out and try to – I mean, you'd have to – if – you would have to time that so damn perfectly to just get your fingers on it. You got to try to block it with your body, Dream.
We've seen many field goals and many punts blocked, and they didn't make contact with the kickers.
I agree with you.
So that's my thing.
I agree. But what if the punter steps forward to punt the ball?
Different situation. If the punter runs into you or if you're pushed into him, it's a different situation. But if you make contact with the field goal or punter while kicking, I believe it should be a roughing call. That's and especially right now in the landscape of, you can't touch the quarterback and how they're taking all the violence out of the game of football and making it so you can't really touch anybody. I'm very shocked that they haven't done something with that particular rule.
Yeah, I get it. So anyway, the Seattle Seahawks emerge, and surprising, Buffalo played them pretty damn tough. I didn't expect that, Dream. I was closing out Moneyline Parlay, and I did get that to work with Seattle. Right. But it was a stomach ache, man.
Well, we talked about Seattle's offensive line, even though it wasn't that much of an issue because I did see Russell Wilson just a bit more mobile, and Jimmy Graham finally showed up for Seattle. But we did talk about Seattle's offensive line being putrid, and we know Buffalo has a pretty potent defense.
Right on. But both teams managed to score some points the other night.
Yes, sir.
Both teams. So that was surprising. I didn't think so. I thought it'd be more of a low-scoring affair, but I ended up getting the job done, and that capped off an amazing football weekend for your boy. And I'm looking forward to doing another one this weekend moving forward as far as the pigskin is concerned. So what else you got up your sleeve?
I just want to move over to the hardwood for a minute. I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls who just lost again last night to Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, man.
And you were telling me how they're dope, and I'm telling you not so fast.
They'll be all right.
Dude, I don't really like this team.
You don't, huh?
I love Jimmy Butler, don't get me wrong, but the other guys on this team for me are hit or miss, and I don't like their I don't like their ability to score.
Okay.
Because I think out when Jimmy Butler leaves the court, unless Dwayne Wade's in one of his moods or having a great game, you just don't have a lot of scoring options. I mean, Rondo is an absolute great ball facilitator, great ball handler, awful scoring option.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Awful scoring option, player.
All right, so, looking at the rest of it here, I mean, D. Wade has been really, been good. And you know what? I think this team will be okay. I really do. So, but, the Atlanta Hawks, I guess you got to pay them a little bit of attention. Now that they got your boy D. Howard on here.
No, I am not paying them attention. We do this every year with them. They are not getting paid attention. They get paid attention as I'm remembering that they're dusty.
Okay.
The thing about D. Wade, though, back to the Bulls one more time, is you do have to talk about D. Wade as the season goes on. Those knees will become an issue.
Of course. We already know that.
Yes.
So that's how it goes, guys. So, anyway, let's move on here, Dream. Speaking of basketball.
Yep.
Looks like we got something starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we do got college basketball starting tomorrow. Before we go over there, I just want to talk about the NBA one more time, a little bit more about the NBA. Two things I want to talk about. One, I want to talk about the Knicks hat because the Knicks, while they started out the gate slow, I've been catching them. This team's got a great upside, man.
You really think so?
Dude, I really think this Knicks team's got a great upside. If they can get these guys to play as a cohesive unit and to buy into the system what they're trying to promote. I mean, this is a great upside. You got Porzingis, you got Noah, as far as your big guys. Porzingis can go out and shoot the three. You got Anthony, he's a potent shooting option. You got Derrick Rose facilitating the ball around. And Courtney Lee, dude. Courtney Lee, to me, X factor. Huge X factor for this team. Unsung hero, guy that'll go out there and get you those hustle points and give you that hustling. Dude, to me, this Knicks team has a better upside than that Bulls team does.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to see a little bit more of them, and I'm looking forward to actually going to the Garden and seeing a Knicks game this year. But, the thing was, last year, Porzingis didn't really get as many touches as he should have, in my opinion.
No, but this year they seem to be letting him go ham as a start.
All right.
You
cheering for a white boy?
Dude, you know what? You know me, I'm not like that. I'm cheering for you talented. Grown man moves, my favorite.
Peyton Manning.
Yep, I'm not on that at all, and I like to see what he's doing, but they're giving him the ball a little bit more, giving him some more looks, giving him some more touches. That being said, they still do have, it still is a work in progress, so they need to keep that in mind. And I'm telling you, they got a great upside if they can keep it and get it together. Also, need to talk about James Harden for a minute as he's back to doing his usual. I know he's getting a lot of accolades as being a really good player. Listen, James Harden is an offensive juggernaut all day. Defense?
No, he can't play defense at all.
You don't even know what defense is, okay? If you put on defense for him, I'll probably turn the TV off and switch the channel to something else. Defense is not his thing. I know that he could score, and the reason I can't go ham with him, I cannot completely go ham with any player that is only offensively orientated and can't play defense.
Well, same thing with Steph Curry.
I was just going to say that too. Now, Steph Curry's thing, though, I won't say that Steph Curry. I gotta say he can't play defense, but I think it's more about Steph Curry's height than it is about his ability to play defense.
Sure.
Exactly. Because I at least see him out there hustling, trying to get back, trying to play defense. James Harden. Okay, they got by me. I'm good. I'm going to stand here, take out the ball, and throw it back and bounce to me. You know what I'm saying?
He'll try to outgun you. Exactly. and you know what, too? I mean, he'll have the ball for 3 seconds off the shot clock and try to make a move. He doesn't even wait for anything to develop in front of him.
It ain't even looking at nobody. You don't catch the standing around mad, chewing gum, saying he ain't going to pass. Yeah. So I ain't even coming to the cool.
Right on, brother. Right on. I mean, the NBA is definitely among us, but I'm still knee-deep in college football, obviously, and the NFL and all that. So, as you are too, Dream. And you know what? Once football comes and goes, that's when I really dive deep into college hoop and the NBA. But there are going to be some spots where we can make some money on the off nights of football.
I am the same way. I'm definitely football's number one for me. Definitely my energy, obviously, and passion is always going to be with the football first. And then we'll move over to basketball. I do enjoy, I have to say that doing this program and getting involved with the SBTV Nation, I do have to say that college basketball, though, has become a close second to football for me.
Well, football in general, as far as college and pro?
As far as college and pro, yeah, it would be number one would be pro football, number two would be college football, and then number three, I like college hoop better than NBA. I'd have to put NBA 4. I got to be honest with you. College hoop, I really enjoy college hoop, and I started to love it just doing this show and being involved with the nation.
Well, you know what? There's so many games, and there's just so many teams. So it gives you a lot. And there are a lot of teams. I mean, there's a ton of parity as far as some of these other divisions that were not all that back in the day and have emerged. You know, you got teams like Wichita State, and you got like Richmond and stuff like that. They could Mercer Madness that could beat you any given night, Dream. And when you got these student athletes that are traveling the country that have academics and they got girls and they got all this other stuff going on, you're going to catch them in some situations where they're coming in, as a 10-point favorite, like a Kentucky, for instance, and get beat on the court. So you got a lot of different parity going on over there.
Definitely.
So it's going to be pretty good. And you know what? Same rule applies, guys. Home team underdogs on prime time. Same rule applies. Because I've seen it time and time again. I remember Auburn and Kentucky last year where Auburn laid the smackdown on them. And Killer Cal was going crazy when that went down, Dream. And Duke is number one.
I know, and I'm going to save some comments about that for another show because I want to get into that right now, but I really think that is justified, but whatever. All and right. With that, let's move on over to the ice for a second and talk about what's going on over there as the Montreal Canadiens do their thing.
They've been doing their thing up until they lost 10-0 the other night.
But that's all right. One loss?
Yeah, I know. I get it. Well, Dream, you remember that last year they started off doing the same exact thing. I believe they had won 12 games or something like that. And then they just went down the drain after that.
Yeah, Montreal Canadiens doing their thing over in the hockey. I want you guys to keep an eye on them right now. Also, very interesting, the Ottawa Senators seem to be making a little bit noise as well. Very interesting that Ottawa's peeking their head, out there as far as playing some positive hockey, which is a kind of a little bit of a surprise to me. Over in the Western Conference, the Chicago Blackhawks are catching an eye as far as an honorable mention. St. Louis Blues seem to always be there. Dallas Stars struggling this season so far. Don't really know what's going on and what their woes completely are there. But St. Louis Blues seem to be having it together. And of course, gang, this is very, very early. I'm just going through a couple of the teams that I've been looking at and been paying a little slight attention to as well. You got a couple of small injuries floating around. Washington Capitals don't look as good and as solid and as potent as they ended the season last year. I don't know if they're looking for a comeback or they're trying to turn it around or what's up with their chemistry, but we are going to have some hockey people on in the very soon future to discuss what's going on with a couple of these teams. Also, the New York Rangers have been playing well, but the Islanders been struggling.
Well, you know what? We talked about the Washington Caps last year, and that was their best shot to win a Stanley Cup. And you know what? Probably just the sting of losing last year. You never know where their heads are at. I mean, I mean, they had the best. Didn't they have the best record in the NHL last year? And they were amazing. I mean, you could bet them left and right. I mean, we murdered them.
Yes, we did.
Like nonstop. And all of a sudden, the Penguins emerged and knocked them off. So, hey, it is what it is. And Dream, we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, definitely.
So, looking forward to college. Kid, we're going to have college basketball. We're going to have NBA, college football, the NFL, everything going on all at once, with the exception of baseball, obviously. But I do want to say one thing, and I've thought about this quite a bit. And, when you think about just gambling on sports overall, and you look at the polar opposite being football and baseball. Baseball, 162 games. Football, 10% of that, 16 games being the NFL. I believe that you can make a lot more money in the NFL because you're going to get max effort every week versus baseball. But, you know what? We've done pretty well with baseball overall. So, you know what? It's just something where I feel more comfortable having a team playing once a week versus 7 days a week, Dream.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, Dream.
Yes.
I believe that you have a guest on the line.
Uh-oh. Are we getting grown and sexy this morning?
Good morning.
Who do we have on the line? Do we have now? Tay Stevens, we gotta let you know here. You have seemed to be a fan favorite among our audience.
That's good. That's always good news, right?
Our guys seem to really like you. They posted your picture several times to the point that I was like, you know what? Let me get at this young lady and see if I could get her on the show.
I'm sure it's my glasses.
I'm sure it's got to definitely be your glasses. Now, the thing that also the rumor going around is you have been already contacted by Donald Trump's people, and he's looking to maybe give you a position in the Oval Office, being his personal assistant. Is there any truth to that?
No, you know what? I have both Donald and Hillary for a long time on a do not call me list. They're on my do not call list. I don't want anything to do with American politics. I'm Canadian. I love it. And I am so glad that I didn't have to be a part of the debacle that was created on Tuesday night. So I'm just, no, not allowed to call me.
Gotcha. So did you have an opinion at all? Was there anyone you liked or you didn't like?
I mean, I think both candidates, I think it was lose-lose. I think that neither of them deserve to be there, but it is what it is right now. And I guess, I mean, every decision that America makes, it's going to affect the rest of the world. So I just hope that, even though it was a complete shocker to me, that I just hope that Donald does something for America and that he does bring people together instead of people being torn apart. But by the protests and everything that's going on, I really don't know what's going to happen, but violence begets violence, so I just hope the protests stay calm and he has a chance, an opportunity to make America great, as he said, and to continue being great. So we'll see.
If you get nervous and you feel a little scared, just reach out to us and I'll be sure to shoot somebody.
Actually, you know what? Most people are trying to reach out to me to move to Canada, so I'm good. I'm good over on this side.
Nervous at all, though. I got you. We'll reach out, get down there and give you some type of protection.
Okay, I will have you on my speed dial.
Let me switch it on over to sports, as you know that's what we do here. What type of sports are you interested in? What do you get down with? Are you following sports? What are you doing?
Oh my gosh! Well, first, before we get into that, I just wanted to say to Rob that my condolences. I just wanted to let you know that, and I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I lost my father when I was 6. I know that loss is obviously terrible at any age, so I just wanted to let you know about that.
Thank you, Ted.
And that kind of gets me into where I got my sports from, because when I was 6 years old, me and my dad used to go to the racetrack, so I started sports kind of gambling at like 6 years old.
Nice.
And I grew up with 3 older brothers, so I'm the youngest, only girl. So for me, sports was in my blood. I'm a tom girl. You know, I'm a tomboy, but I'm a girly girl, but, you know, I'm full of sports all my life, grew up that way. So that's how it happened. And then I just watched sports a lot, and I started to learn more and more about it. And one of my closest friends taught me the ins and outs of the lines and all of that. So I love it. I love NFL first. I'm Canadian, so obviously hockey. But all sports that I can bet on, I like.
Wow.
Well, so you are a aficionado, as we like to call it.
Well, I'm not a superstar expert, but I love. I study my stuff. I love my sports.
All right, good. That's good to hear. What now? You said you love NFL best. Who's your favorite team in the NFL?
Sorry, what? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The NFL. You said it was your favorite sport. Who's your favorite team in the NFL?
Oh, anyone who knows me, the Patriots are my favorite team by far. So the Patriots, I am 100% loyal to. They are an amazing team, amazing coach, best quarterback in the NFL. That's my team.
All right, big Pats fan, and we've seen you in some Patriot gear.
Yes, I think I own every piece of clothing that they make for girls for Patriots. So yeah, I own a lot of Patriots gear. I'm in the Las Vegas Super Contest. I'm not sure if you guys know that that's going on. It's a big contest where you pick 5 games against the spread every week. And there's about 1,300 people in it, really big contest. And I've picked the Patriots the last except for their bye week, obviously, the last 4 weeks, and they've covered for me every time. So you got to love a team that always covers.
I think almost 80% of our audience is in that contest or has at least talked to us in regards to it. So
awesome. So see, it's really tough. I mean, to pick 5 against the spread every week is really tough, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm hanging in there. So hanging with the big boys a little bit.
I think 80% of our audience is going to want to take the knee and propose to Taylor Stevens right now.
Sure. That's why I had to get you on so they can hear your voice. And now hearing you speak, you know what? Hearing you speak and just the intelligence is coming across, over the airwaves, and I'm able to hear, obviously a young lady that, knows a little bit about a lot of things. That makes it even that much more sexy to go with the picture as well. I also talk for a minute about, a lot of people don't notice, but you actually were involved in the battle with breast cancer and won, correct?
Actually, it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but I did win that battle on Christmas Eve, 2010. On Christmas Eve, I got the phone call after some hospital visits that I had cancer, and I had to start chemotherapy immediately after New Year's. So I went through 6 rounds of chemo, as well as 2 months of radiation, lost all of my hair, and I was still so positive and still like, I'm going to beat this thing. And I had a beautiful wig. I kept working, kept doing my thing, and I think it was my will and my father's strength, and that just kept me going and said, hey, you can either lay down and give up, or you just keep fighting. And I've been a fighter my entire life, so that's what I did, and now, thank God, I'm cancer-free. So, yeah.
And that's awesome. And that's, I wanted to talk about that and touch on it for a minute, because we on this show always talk about the perils of real life and things that happen every day and why it's so important to make the most of every day and all the time that you can get. And, life sends us all kinds of twists and turns and curveballs. And, it happens to everyone. So
yes.
Everyone is exempt from that. And the beautiful, the not so beautiful, the big, the small, everybody in between. It comes for everybody.
I agree. Everything is, I believe nothing gets put in front of us that we can't handle. I think we're all stronger than we know. And when it happens, you just have to kind of dig deep and get through it. And I've done that many times in my life through many different obstacles. Like, I used to be 300 pounds. I lost 180 pounds in 13 months because my health was at risk. And that was prior to my cancer diagnosis. So for me, it's just keep pushing and put a challenge in front of me. I'll be like, no, I will win. And so I'm pretty competitive, but
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Real good.
So, T, we got a little bit of something going on tonight called Thursday Night Football. I don't know if you really consider football, as the card tonight is absolutely what I call a BBT, which is Battle of the Booty Teams.
I call it boring, and this is 100% a no play for my super contest. This is not a play for me, but if I want to bet on tonight's game, I think, even though they're consistently disappointing, I think I would take the Browns to cover the 9.5 points for tonight's game. But I would only watch it if I bet it. So
I was going to say, you want to take the Browns for the super contest?
I'm not going to. I never take Thursday night games for the super contest. I feel it's bad luck and it's not enough time for me. I'm very last minute. I like to get my picks in last minute. So more information, helps you every now and then. So for me, it's definitely a no play in the super contest, but I think I might lay a little bit of money with the Browns.
Oh, interesting. So let me ask you something. Since you're all the way in Canada, is there a proxy service that you use to get your plays in for the Super Contest?
Absolutely. I have an amazing proxy in Vegas. They're at Football Contest on Twitter, and so they handle everything. They're really great. They make sure you don't have to worry about anything but making your picks. They get them in on time. Everything is great.
Oh, okay. What do you do? Like email them or call them in? Or
yeah, I mean, you have to be in Vegas originally when you sign up, and then you sign up with them and you sign up for the contest in person. And then it's done through email. You email them your picks, and they put them in for you, let you know that it's all done. And that's it. So easy peasy. I don't have to worry about anything but making my picks and, stressing Friday night about which 5 teams I'm going to pick.
Oh, fantastic. And is there a deadline when you got to get your picks in by?
Yeah, for this, it's Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. So it's like I hate mornings, to be honest. I'm not a morning person because I'm usually up very late. But I found the last few weeks making my picks early in the morning have helped me. So I think I'm just going to leave it to the mornings and force myself to get up.
There you go.
Any folks out there catching any ideas, please keep in mind that sports wagering in Canada is not illegal.
I mean, yeah, and you can bet online. There's tons of sites to bet online, Lincoln. It's just, and we have our pro line here, which is kind of like, it's not really that great. It's like more, for me, it'd be like props and stuff like that. But you can bet online, and I mean, I used to live in Vegas. I lived there for 2.5 years, and I lived right across from the Westgate, which was the Hilton prior. So it was so great to run over to do my halftime bets and my first quarter bets because I could just literally run over. So for me, Vegas was like my home, but I had to move back due to some family reasons and stuff. But Vegas is always going to be my second home.
Awesome.
And you can bet anytime, anywhere there. So.
Yeah, right. And we would love, I'd love to be in Vegas, but I will say it would probably take me 2 years to adjust to getting the sports dead right as far as the times, because you're so programmed for times as far as, when you live on the East Coast and you've been watching football here for as long as you have. In all the other sports, you're just not really accustomed to getting up at 9 o'clock and, the games are, ready to pop off or in play. I know when I was over there for March Madness, man, how many games did we miss, Hat?
Oh, I think I missed half the card.
It's a hard adjustment. I mean, when I first moved there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be up at 9 to get ready, and it was crazy. And now with these London games at 9:30, like I would no, I'm not going to be at the sportsbook at 6:30 in the morning to watch a London game. So no.
Definitely got to be organized and have it on point. Well, look, Taylor Stevens, we loved having you join us this morning. The information was stellar. Talking with you, chit-chatting with you was very, very nice. You want to tell our audience where they can find you? Now is the time.
Yeah, whatever you want to plug. Anything you want to do.
Well, you can find me online at, obviously on Twitter at twitter.com/TayStevens. I always say it like that in case people don't know, at TayStevens. TayStevens.com, camwithtay.com, and you can find me in Boston, first row end zone this weekend, watching my Patriots kick some Seattle butt. So definitely keep an eye out for me in the front row.
Oh, fantastic. All right. And feel free to tag us on your website. We'd be more than happy to send it to everybody.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time. I had a really good time, guys.
All right. Thanks, Tay.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wow, Dream. Very, very nice, huh?
Very nice. As smart as she is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to getting her back on time and time again. She's been great. And you know what? For her, to send her condolences to me, I really appreciated that big time as well. So the BBT is among us tonight.
Yeah, before we get into that, it's time for you to do your Herb Street impersonation.
Oh, at the collegiate slate?
Collegiate slate of rankings that you love.
I did it on Monday. I went through the top 25.
I did that. Okay.
I did that, yeah. But I can tell you that the playoff teams and the committee has selected the following, which we thought would happen. It's Clemson, Alabama, Harbizzle with Michigan, and Washington has cracked the top 4. Which
in Louisville at the 6th spot, though, Hat.
It's all right. Let it play out. You said it all washes itself out at the end. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell you this much, Dream. There are no cakewalks for anybody.
Definitely not.
As far as this is concerned. Alabama, listen, they'll probably be in there. I think it would take a really tough situation for them to lose. Maybe Jalen Hurts gets knocked out of a game or something like that. Because, the defense could keep them in any single game. They have to play the Iron Bowl with Auburn. So that's going to happen. And obviously the SEC championship. But, you have Michigan obviously needs to go to Columbus and play The Ohio State University. Plus try to win the Big Ten championship. You have that. You have Washington, who needs to go into a very hostile Washington State University. So, in-state rival, anything can happen with that. And obviously, Clemson, you know how they play. You know how they're sporadic? They're a little bipolar-ish.
Right.
So they can be, knocked off at any time as well. Maybe in an ACC championship. So Louisville, being a one-loss team, the problem is with Louisville is that their schedule outside it has not been. Besides Florida State, they struggle with Duke, they struggle with Virginia, and the committee's going to keep looking at that. So that's something that you need to consider, especially when you have the Ohio State University in. You got a one-loss Ohio State and a one-loss Louisville. And if Ohio State beats Michigan and does all that, you're not going to pick. They're not going to pick Louisville. They're going to put Ohio State in there.
Oh, I think they are going to put Ohio State. My question is, though, would they supplant Washington?
Washington needs to win out and win the pack. If they win out and win the pack, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They will be in the playoffs.
I don't see. That's my thing, Hat. I'm just, I don't know. If they, now, say they have a very tight game with Washington State and Louisville just drubbins everybody from here on out, I still think so, huh?
Doesn't matter. Because Washington will have one more game because of the Pac-12 championship. And they will have a conference championship in their resume regardless. And if you compare the schedules, realistically, there's not many differences as far as strength of schedule is concerned between the two teams. Washington's going to have one more victory, and they're deserving of the playoff, period. That's the way it is. I wish they would make it 8 teams, Dream, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I know, but you got to cut it off at some point. So, you know what I mean? It would be awesome. 6 is an idea, too. I don't know. You have to stop it somewhere. I'm just glad that we got to this finally, so I ain't going to ask for too much.
Well, if you stop it, if you did 6, then the way it would work, I think the best way would be you have your top 2 teams who get a bye. You have 3, 4, 5, and 6 play each other. And then the winners of those teams play to 1 and 2. Yep. So you'd have basically, if you're not one of the top 2 teams, you got to play 1, 2, 3 games. So that's the way it would work. I like that a lot better, to be honest with you. Even 8, 8, maybe you do like a 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, with seeding. But either way, they've made some adjustments, obviously, in the last few years with the playoff. Before that, when they just had the national championship just voted on, that sucked. So at least they're moving in the right direction with it. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
All right. So anyway, let's move on to the Battle of the Booty Teams and have a conversation about tonight's matchup with the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cleveland Browns, who are 0-9 right now. Dream. So looking at this particular game, Baltimore is 4-4, coming off the big win versus Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland, are they going to go in and get embarrassed? That's the question.
When you look at Cleveland's record,
yes.
Outside of Dallas, Cincinnati kind of embarrassed them too. I was going to say outside, and then so did New England. Okay, nah, I can't go there.
Well, you got some really good teams there. You just rattled off.
I can't go there. So, listen, if you could take Cleveland tonight, that's just because you've been gambling a long time.
That's because you like playing a dog.
And you like exactly.
Well,
you playing a dog and you've been gambling a long time. Because other than that, you couldn't. I wouldn't play Cleveland with your money.
All right. Well, here's the deal. First things first, you got to look at is obviously you have an interdivision matchup, Dream. We know that. We know how those go. Any given Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever, a team can knock off the other team. When you look at the way they've played each other in the last 2 affairs, it's been tight, Dream. Baltimore won in Cleveland in September by 5. Remember, Cleveland was up the entire game. Baltimore and Flacco came back at the end and won. I think Cleveland was up 20-3 or something like that in that game in Cleveland. Then you look at last November when they played in Cleveland, and Baltimore only won by 6 points. The game before that, going back to last October, Cleveland actually beat Baltimore by 3. I understand if you just can forget it that it's the Cleveland Browns for a minute. And you just say it's a last place team versus a first place team in this position. you would think that, hey, 9.5 points seems like a lot. But it's Cleveland. So you got to think about that. And you know what? It would be very tough for me. Because you know what, Dream? You go and bet Cleveland plus 9.5.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're down 14-0 and you're screaming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I would not put myself in that position.
Me neither. And I'm not going to. And that's that. Here's my thing, though. Honestly, if I was the owner of the Cleveland Browns or if I was the new coach, you know the first thing I would do with Cleveland?
What's that?
Change them awful ass uniforms.
I know.
How can you win with a brown helmet or a oranges? What is it? It's not even that burnt orange. It's kind of just they just look.
I know that. I mean, outside of the Ravens, I mean that whole division. Their uniforms are brutal. I mean, the Steelers with those bumblebee jerseys.
I don't mind the Steelers. The black and yellow, not the bumblebee ones, but their regular black and yellow, that's I mean, I don't mind. That's a the Steelers uniforms are classics. I don't mind them as much. But this Browns got to have, I think the Browns got the worst uniforms in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the bumblebee ones are brutal. The ones for
those are throwback joints, though.
Yeah, okay.
That's not their real, you know what I mean?
Couple of other things here to report, guys, real quick, as far as the totals are concerned. I mean, both teams, Cleveland only averages 18.7 points per game, where Baltimore is 19.3. The key ingredient here, as far as their success or not success rate, is that Cleveland gives up 30.3 points per game. When you look at it here, the over 6 of the last 8 for Cleveland have gone over. And for Baltimore, there's a lot of under trending right now as far as they're concerned. 4 of the last 5 have gone under. You know what? Baltimore does not impress me offensively at all. And obviously Cleveland doesn't. Cleveland defensively is pretty bad. What's the total on this game, Dream? What do we have here? 45 points. I can't see this being fireworks. I can't. I can possibly... I would listen to if somebody approached me with a total of an under and buying it up to maybe like a 52 or something like that, getting involved in a teaser. I would listen to that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I think this game is a no play, personally.
Definitely.
If this game was on the Sunday card, damn well none of you guys, I would be, maybe 5% of the population would be betting this game. So, and Dream, I think you're on the same side as me, as this being a no play.
Definitely a no play for me. You might want to make, you could look at this game and make a halftime play possibly. I wouldn't get down with it personally, but if you see something you like or you notice something in the first half or it's kind of close in the first half, but you definitely feel a different way about it after seeing it, all pan out, then you could go away. But this is a no play for me as well.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, Baltimore should win the game. But when I look at the way they've played each other in the last 3 outings, anything could happen.
Anything.
And they are professional athletes. And you have an 0-9 team who is absolutely dying, would give anything to get their first victory and get out of the record books here. So that's another key ingredient. I don't like betting against an 0-9 team or an 0-8 team or 0-10 team, stuff like that. So I think it's more of a stay away from for me, personally.
Definitely a stay away from. And even better than that, if you're done there, we can just move right over to college football.
Yeah, let's move over to the Collegiate League because I see a couple of home team underdogs on prime time here, Dream.
My man Terrence Mack has been hitting me up and hitting up the Twitter and doing his thing. He's got the powder blue on, representing the North Carolina Tar Heels as they play Duke tonight.
Yes, and North Carolina is heavily favored, minus 10.5, with an under over of 61.5 going into Duke. Now, I remember how Duke performed on primetime in their last outing when they played under the lights, when they played Louisville, and they gave Louisville a very, very difficult game. I understand that North Carolina is 4-0 on the road, and I did have them last week. Excuse me. For some reason, Dream, I like Duke here.
Okay, and I think that's only because you now are just blindly with the home team dog. That's just all you're going to do now.
That.
I've heard it, the rhetoric of it. You get on a bandwagon every season. It seems like you find some type of trend that you want to work and beat to death.
Yes.
And end up changing to another one the next season. However, on this particular evening, I happen to somewhat agree with you about Duke. I personally am not getting involved with this game, but I've watched North Carolina this year, and it's just been very inconsistent as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know the last 3 games have been dope. I know the Florida State win was dope. I got you, Terrence Mack. Relax. Slow down, because I know you looking at the radio or looking at your phone going, what's the Dream talking about? Why are you messing with my team? It's just when I watch him out on the field offensively, it's that I don't see that rhythm. I don't see that the ball movement like it's supposed to. It's like that herky-jerky, start, stutter, they'll move the ball downfield for 3 possessions, then, all of a sudden go limp and then have to kick punt the ball. Just can't seem to put that clean, crisp, nice drive together. Now, I know they're 7-2. I know they're 5-1 in the conference. I know all of that, okay? Defense, though, is allowing 410 yards. That's heavy. And once again, you guys know how I feel about this stat. Whenever you are over 150 yards rushing allowed on your defense, that's always a red flag to me. They allow 221 yards on the ground.
Wow.
That's a problem for me. I struggle whenever I see that number on the team. I struggle with trying to back them, because that means that they're not good against the run. And if another team is if you're able to essentially, I've always come from the school of, if you're able to effectively run the ball, a lot of good things are going to happen if you can run the ball.
Right on. I'm with you. I'm looking at it here. I mean, North Carolina bludgeoned them last year. And Duke was pretty good last year. And North Carolina, obviously, was an ACC championship team. They didn't win the title, but they made it to the game. So,
and a quarterback, though. Quarterback, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. So, I don't know, Dream. I kind of like Duke plus the points.
I kind of like Duke plus the points, too. I think you'd be better off, though, getting a little bit more points with this. Probably in a teaser situation and getting this up, quite a bit. You throw 7 on that. Throw another touchdown on that. Get that to 18.
Oh, 18 would be nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on from that game, guys. I think we're both on the same side with the dog tonight, believe it or not. So what else we got up our sleeves here for college football, Dream? I see one more game worth talking about. That's the Utah Utes going into Arizona State. And Utah's -6 with an under-over of 56.5.
8 to the Zizzle State is a stop.
5-14, 4-1 at home. Is this the upset? Is this the upset? Is this the upset of the night? One of these teams going to upset the other team.
It is not the upset of the night. The Utah Utes are pretty good at. We've talked about them a little bit in the past. They've been pretty good this season. Quite a couple of bad breaks, I think, Utah has this season. You know what I'm saying? The loss against Washington, obviously that was, I kind of expected that. But they played Washington well, Hat.
Yeah, and if you look at Utah right now, there are a ton of problems with this roster right now. You have a bunch of undisclosed situations with a lot of players for Utah that are all questionable for tonight's game. So that's something to take a look at. Running backs, a ton of running backs here, Dream. Linebackers, tight ends. I mean,
injuries?
Yeah, take a look at it. It's all undisclosed. So I don't know what happened here, but there's something to.
It's involved with the Trump rallies?
Maybe. Protesting Trump got thrown in the slammer. So, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't like that game one bit. I like the Duke game a lot better than that one.
And in the Zizzle State, though, allows 513 yards on the defense. So
400 through the air.
Utah should be able to pass the ball to, even if they have to put in the nobodies, there should be some ability to catch the ball there. Arizona State's defense is not good this season. Utah, I am going to lean on Utah. As I've had Utah in the past. To me, the very impressive win that Utah had was versus UCLA. I had them in that particular game. They also beat Arizona, who I don't think is that good either this season. I see them beating the Sun Devils. Will they cover the spread or not? I don't know, but I don't play spreads. You're going to get involved with this. You money line it. And, if you're going to do the other one and you're going to throw the 7 on that and get that up to 18, throw the 7 on this and have it as Utah +1, and I think that would work.
Well, you know what? On the flip side, if you look at Arizona State, their roster, they have a list a mile long of injuries as well. So that's something to take a look at. Guys, I could rattle off all these names, but you know what? Do it for yourself and figure out if you want to get involved in this game. You know what? When both of these teams are decimated and, have a bunch of questionable players and all that, Dream, I just can't do it. I can't get involved.
Scissor State got murdered in three of these games. Colorado killed them. USC killed them. And Oregon beat the brakes off them. Oregon is not good this season.
Well, you know what? This actually, the Pac, to be honest with you, with Colorado, USC emerging, and Washington might have a pretty interesting game come championship time, Dream. We have to have that conversation. All right, Dream. So that's going to do it for me. I got to roll. I'll be back tomorrow.
Hey, let's get out of here, guys. Tomorrow, be advised, we do have another guest on the show. Tiger Clinch is coming on to talk to us. We got a big UFC weekend planned. I guess they got a lot going on, so he's going to come in and enlighten us on that. So make sure you guys listen back in. And we'll be working on, obviously, in the future, I'm working on some hockey guests, and I'm working on some more hoop guys to come on and talk to us and shout at you. Hey, big shout outs to Taylor Stevens for coming on the show and gracing us with her presence once again. She was great to work with, back and forth on the DMs, kept communication perfect with me. Yes. And once again, thank you for, mentioning the condolences to Hat. That's a big, bright spot for us. Want to thank Terrence Mack, Christos, Caveman, Rick Eddie, Irvin, C. Rodriguez Jr., Vegas Girl 92661, Jeff Ryan, Dr. Dan, Jason Riley, OJFB, LA Wizkid, Shane White, Ted, Joseph Del Rosario, Fast Eddie. You got to be happy with the program as we put your girl, Taylor Stevens, on today. Fast Eddie 72, always plugging her. My man Mario Martinez, Jan Prince, Vegas Jack, Terry Richard, just to name a few. Gang. Awful ass games tonight.
Yes. Okay? College is better than pro.
Much better than the pro game. Pro game is dusty. If you're involved in the pro game, please just let it be your fantasy guys. Just say, hey, you know what, Dream? I got Flacco as my quarterback, or I got, Pryor as my wide receiver. Other than that, don't tell me you're betting on that game because there's no need to, because you got mad games coming up this weekend. College basketball starting tomorrow. You got NBA also popping off tonight. You got some hockey going, so you don't have to play that NFL game. Donald, he's the commander-in-chief right now, so you got to follow him. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day, because you cannot get this time back.
Yes, sir. Guys, enjoy your night tonight. The weekend starts tomorrow. It actually starts for me tonight. I like Thursday nights a lot. But this game is booty. So we'll probably be watching collegiate football tonight. But do whatever it is you got to do in life to do whatever it is that you want to do in life and get that money. Let's go.